Since it's a recording of murmur, we do not have the liberty to time the murmur with the carotid palpation. So we'll take the assumption that if the heart rate is normal, then the duration of systole is always shorter than that of diastole. Here the part between the two heart sounds where the systolic murmur is heard, that is shorter than the silent part between the two heart sounds. So the part where there is a murmur is possibly systole. The murmur appears to increase in intensity and then reach a peak and then comes down, the so-called crescendo decrescendo nature. So this is an ejection murmur by the shape of it. Now just look at the murmur and listen to the murmur. So normally at the base of the heart, the second sound appears split, but here the first sound appears split. Please note that the auscultation is done at the base of the heart on the right side close to the sternum. Why is it that the first heart sound is appearing split? The split S1 or the split first heart sound is so rare in childhood, and if at all it is audible, it is at the apex, not at the base of the heart. So we may not consider this as split S1. So possibly there is an additional sound just before the first sound or just after the first sound. That is the assumption. The possibilities then are S4 that occurs immediately before the first heart sound, or a click that appears immediately after the first heart sound. S4 is heard immediately before the first heart sound, but it is so rare in childhood, and also if at all it is heard, it is at the apex, and that too with difficulty, like you have to tilt the child to the left lateral position and auscultate to get it. So we possibly may not consider S4 as a possibility in this scenario. Ejection click appears immediately after the first heart sound, and that is quite sharp also. Here you can listen again, it appears a bit sharp after the first heart sound, so it appears that it is a ejection click. The second heart sound appears almost single. No additional events are audible in diastole. So an ejection systolic murmur with an ejection click best audible at the aortic area means it is a aortic stenosis murmur. In aortic stenosis, because the ventricle is pumping against a stenosis, it takes a longer time to eject. So the aortic component of the second sound, A2, that gets delayed and goes very close to P2. So the second sound may appear narrowly split or even single, because the A2 component, because of stenosis, appears very less audible. Now the other areas to be auscultated in a case of aortic stenosis is, one is secondary aortic area, that is the third space on the left side close to the sternum. Then the apex, because this is an event that is occurring at the outflow tract of left ventricle, so that can be easily heard at the apex of the heart. And third, you can auscultate over the carotid and see the conducted murmur. The apex is described as heaving, basically because in aortic stenosis, it is pumping against a resistance, a stenosed area. Pumping is very forceful and it takes a longer time to complete the ejection. So the forceful apex remain lifted for a longer period of time, and that is what is called heaving apex. But since there is no diastolic overload, there may not be a cardiomegaly clinically detectable. There will be concentric hypertrophy of the myocardium, but for a clinically detectable cardiomegaly, you need a increase in size of the heart. So that happens when there is a increased volume during diastole that stretches the fibers, and then the heart contracts more forcefully and it becomes hypertrophied and dilated. There you get cardiac enlargement, like for example VSD. Now what are the symptoms? Symptoms are angina and syncope are the commonest symptoms, but then effort intolerance like dyspnea, and very rarely sudden death also can happen. Now regarding the survival, the question specifically says asymptomatic child with this condition, what is the survival? The answer is survival is normal, because you need even up to 50% reduction of aortic orifice to have a significant gradient. So asymptomatic without much gradient, the longevity is normal. So here you have to clearly read the question. In Noske, this particular question is not pertaining to this particular child, because this child even at 8 years is having heaving apex, means this child is going to develop symptoms. Only thing is when. That is the only question that remains to be answered. This child anyway will be symptomatic in due course of time. But the question is, a child with this condition, if asymptomatic, what is the longevity? That is normal. So in OSCE, such a tricky questions may come, and unfortunately OSCE can be scored only according to the answer sheet that is given to the examiner. So sometimes such misleading questions can come. Thank you.